Okay, well, good morning. I am pleased to be here for this very exciting announcement. Thank you for everyone for attending. I am Tim Lewis, the Member of Parliament for Kitchener-Conestoga. I'm going to begin by acknowledging that we are joining throughout Waterloo Region on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, and the Neutral Peoples. And I would like to extend a warm welcome to the Honourable Bardish Chagger, Minister of Diversity, Inclusion and Youth, and also a Member of Parliament for Waterloo, and my colleagues Raj Saini, Member of Parliament for Kitchener Centre, and Brian May, Member of Parliament for Cambridge, are also here with us today. So, as well as Chair Karen Redmond. So, uh, Region of Waterloo International Airport is an important hub for residents of Waterloo Region and surrounding communities, connecting us to airports across the country and internationally. And safe and efficient airports support their communities in many ways. And so to tell you more about today's exciting investment, I'd like to welcome my colleague, Minister Bardish Chagger, to provide remarks on behalf of the Government of Canada. Mr. Chagger?
Thanks, Tim Lewis. I just want to say, first of all, Tim, as a member of Parliament for Kitchener-Conestoga, you have done a tremendous job to represent the region of Waterloo International Airport as well as your constituents. I am very confident that today's announcement would not being taking place if it wasn't for your hard work. You are a fabulous addition to our team. And I know that Brian May and Raj Saini and myself really appreciate having you as part of the voices for the region of Waterloo at the federal level. So it's been an honor and a privilege. And it's always great to see Brian and Raj again. And I cannot imagine a better team. So good morning, everyone. I too will acknowledge that I'm joining you from Waterloo, Ontario, the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Neutral Peoples. As Tim mentioned, airports in Canada play an important role in our regional transportation system. They connect us and help to bring us together as a nation. Smaller communities depend on their airports to facilitate travel for medical or business appointments, vacation and tourism, while resource operations in isolated areas count on local airports to be there to move skilled workers. Safe and efficient airports support their communities in many ways. This is more important than ever during these unprecedented and challenging times living through the COVID-19 pandemic. And to do this, their facilities and equipment must meet certain safety standards. That's where the Airports Capital Assistance Program, or ACAP, comes in. ACAP is the Government of Canada's program to help smaller local airports get the safety equipment they need and make infrastructure improvements. It supports projects that rehabilitate runways, taxiways, and aprons, improve airfield lighting and airside electrical systems, and purchase snow and ice removal equipment. The ACAP started in 1995. Since then, the Government of Canada has invested more than $1.1 billion at 199 airports across the country. In recognition of the impact of COVID-19 on Canada's airports, an additional $186 million over 2 years is being made available under the ACAP, increasing the annual program budget by almost 250% over the next 2 years. For this year, the ACAP has been expanded to include national airport system airports with less than 1 million annual passengers in 2019, such as those in Gander, Charlottetown, and those closer by, such as in Thunder Bay and London, just to name a few. Which brings me to why we have all come together today. Today, on behalf of our dear friend and colleague, the Honourable Omar Al-Gabra, Minister of Transport, I am pleased to announce that this year, the Government of Canada, under the leadership of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, is providing just over $3.9 million for the partial rehabilitation of taxiway A, C, and apron 3A aircraft stands at the region of Waterloo International Airport, or as I refer to it, YKS. This is one of 86 projects at 63 airports selected for funding in 2021. Other projects include aircraft and firefighting vehicles in airports in London and Thunder Bay, to the installation of wildlife control fencing at the Lac Brochet Airport in Manitoba, to airfield drainage improvements at the Prince Albert Airport in Saskatchewan, just to name a few. All of these investments have something in common. They are enhancing safe and efficient airport transportation operations for Canadians, and they are delivering on our government's commitment to build safer, healthier, and stronger communities across Canada. This is more important than ever as we reopen our economies affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Our government, under the leadership of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, is committed to seeing Canadians through to the other side of this pandemic. The light at the end of the tunnel is getting brighter, and though we must continue to follow public health guidelines, communities such as ours in the Waterloo region are working to position ourselves to rebuild and prepare for the post pandemic economy and world. Rest assured, I know I speak for Rod Saini, Member of Parliament for Kitchener Centre, Brian May, Member of Parliament for Cambridge, and Tim Lewis, Member of Parliament for Kitchener-Conestoga, when I say we will continue to be strong voices for the Waterloo region in Parliament, and we will continue to fight at the federal level to ensure that the Waterloo region has the supports we need, and that includes the 3 cities and 4 townships, because as much as the world needs more Canada, Canada needs more Waterloo. Thank you so much. Keep well and safe. Back to you, Tim.
Thank you very much, Minister Chagger, for your remarks on behalf of the Government of Canada. You know, one thing that resonated with me is that you started off by mentioning the fact that the airport was so integral in bringing people together. And that's something that is sorely missed, and we're looking forward to it. So the support we're providing for the airport today will have such a positive impact for many residents across Waterloo region. And maybe I'll pass it on. And to tell you more, I would like to call upon Chair Karen Redmond, the regional chair for Region of Waterloo.
Thank you so much, MP Lewis. And before I begin, I would like to take a moment to thank Minister Chagger, MP Saini, and MP May for joining us. This announcement is indeed great news for the future growth of the region of Waterloo. The region of Waterloo is one of the fastest growing communities in the country, and we are forecasted to remain a growth leader in the coming years, as a matter of fact, in the coming decades. Alongside this growth is the region of Waterloo International Airport. The current and projected demand on our airport is now exceeding our capacity, and the Airport Capital Assistance Program funding will help to support several projects to help our airport reach new heights. These include a pavement rehabilitation project to support increased airline traffic and the expansion of the airport's terminal. The terminal expansion, which will double the size of our current airport, is an important pillar to our region's current and future economic growth. The expansion will add jobs to our economy, help attract businesses and talent to our region, and support the tourism industry as we begin to move past this pandemic. Providing increased connectivity to other economic hubs across our country also supports the growth of our knowledge and tech sectors, and makes the region of Waterloo a more desirable place for new companies to put down roots. I'd like to thank the Government of Canada for recognizing the promise that our region holds. This is an important step forward as we work to build community that is not only globally competitive, but also is one of the greatest places in the world to live. And I just really want to acknowledge the fact that these kinds of investments absolutely take partnerships with senior levels of government. And we've all seen the baseball movie, The Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. Well, we know they're coming and we're building it. And I would also like to acknowledge the hard work of Chris Wood, manager of the airport. And Chris has been on this file for years, and this is such great news. Thank you for your investment in our community.
Thank you for those words, Chair Redmond. And you know, you mentioned the fact that demand exceeds capacity, and that's a testament to the partnerships that you talked about, and the many people working together to help to grow both our airport and our region. And so I think it's only fitting now that I introduce Chris Wood, the general manager of the region of Waterloo International Airport, who can speak on the specifics to the project. So Chris, please.
Well, thank you, Tim, and I appreciate everyone gathering today to make this an exciting announcement, and I appreciate the kind words, but really the credit should go to our airline partners. You know, after years of work and me bugging them, and they have finally understood that there is a tremendous opportunity here in the region, and one airline in particular is taking advantage of that. That's Flair Airlines, and not, you know, 2 hours ago, they announced additional service from our airport. So this announcement is very timely. It's very much appreciated and very much needed. And we're not waiting around. We're taking that check and we're cashing it, and we start work on Monday. So we are putting shovels in the ground starting Monday on this exciting work, as well as our terminal expansion work that is 100% funded by the region of Waterloo. And that's a $35 million expansion to our terminal building that, as Chair Edmund said, is absolutely required. Our demand is now outpacing our capacity, and we want to make sure that the residents of the region have a tremendous airport experience when they're here. And we're upgrading everything from the air side, which this ACAP funding will support, but also we're doubling the size of our terminal building. We're adding baggage capacity. We are adding, investments in restaurant and retail for our passengers, and additional baggage screening capacity with our friends and colleagues at Transport Canada and CATSA. And we are upgrading our CBSA, our Canada Customs facility as well. So there's lots of changes coming to the airport. It isn't possible without the support of the region of Waterloo and the federal government. So we're very much appreciative, and thank you very much for today's announcement. It will go to good use.
Well, we can hear the excitement in your voice, and there's wonderful news that that work starts right away, which is again a credit to all the work that everyone has done together. So this investment it's going to continue safe and reliable operations, so we can the airport can keep serving our community. So before we turn it over to the informal, the question and answer part, I thought I would love a chance to get a quick group photo and give the media a chance to get a photo. Normally we'd be standing together, and these days are numbered for hopefully for the Zoom meetings we do. So I want to get my last few Zoom photos in when we can. So if the people have a chance to smile and we can take a quick group photo, I'll put it on my wall. I'm going to assume that pause was a number of flashes and clicks and whirs, but thank you. That ends the formal part of of our presentation, and I look forward to hearing from the media. Maybe our moderator can take over from here. Thank you.
Thanks, MP Lewis. Okay, so if there are any questions from the media, I'll just ask that you can raise your hand or message me and I can call on you. You have one question, one follow-up, and if you have not already, please identify your outlet and direct your question to the specific speakers. And I also ask that you keep questions on the topic of the announcement. Okay, so I'll just call on Robert if you'd like to ask a question.
Thanks, Laura. It's Robert Williams with the Waterloo Region Record. I'm just interested. I know that the goal is essentially to get to 1 million passengers by 2023. I guess this question would be directed to Chris Wood. I just want to get a feeling for what your sense is of being able to meet that target, and how this funding is going to help you get there.
Yeah, I totally believe we will meet that target. Our target really in our master plan was half of that, but Flair and Flair's growth is really driving us to the 1 million. And we believe we will meet that, and we are planning for that in this expansion. So yeah, we're quite confident, and today's announcement really allows us to keep pace with the required airside infrastructure that they will need in order to operate safely and efficiently here at the airport. So it goes hand in hand. Flair couldn't do what they're doing without today's announcement.
Perfect. And Robert, did you have a follow-up question?
Yeah, I guess the only follow-up for that would be, to get to that number, would you think that you would need to attract other airlines on top of Flair?
Well, we did sign an agreement as well with Pivot Airlines, and they're focusing more on the business passenger, which really is sort of delayed from the leisure traveler that Flair is attracting. So they really need to wait until pandemic restrictions are loosened and lifted. So we believe Pivot is going to be making an announcement very shortly on their plans from here. So between Pivot and Flair, and WestJet is also growing, We also have Sunwing operating here in the winter. We believe that we will achieve those numbers sometime in the next year or two.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Robert. I'd next like to call on Mark.
Hi there. So my question is just directed to Chair Redmond, and Chair Redmond, just possibly if you can comment on the announcement from earlier today that Flair Airlines will be expanding to a couple of new U.S. destinations coming up in October.
I really appreciate the question, Mark, and I would go back to Chris's answer that this increased traffic from Flair and other airlines is dependent on these kinds of improvements, so it's very much connected. And I would have to tell you that I think the connectivity for people in Waterloo Region, either to come to Waterloo Region and take those flights, or who live in Waterloo Region to take those flights, and the nonstop air travel and bringing people into our region. It's great for attraction of high tech and advanced manufacturing. There are so many people that look at a community with the kind of potential and the size of Waterloo Region and what we're going to grow into become, and they assume that this kind of air service is in place. So it's great to see that we are moving towards that kind of connectivity. It's great for tourism, it's great for industry, and it's great for access internationally, because a lot of the destinations Flair flies can also have connecting destinations to other places. So it really is connecting the region of Waterloo to the world. So it's great news. The frequency and the dependability are the things that travelers count on.
Mark, did you have a follow-up to that?
Actually, yes, but it's I want to direct the follow-up just to Chris. Just quickly on, of course, these are two locations so far named in for region of Waterloo. Of course, other locations included in Flair's overall announcement, including, of course, Vegas and Phoenix. What have you heard in terms of, I guess, future expansion plans, possibly including some of those other U.S. destinations, possibly in the future for Flair Airlines to come to Waterloo region?
They're not done yet. So Flair is going to be making additional announcements. That's really all I can say at this point.
All right, sounds good to me. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Okay, so I'll just call on if any of the other remaining media outlets, if they have any questions. No? Okay, I think that's it for the media Q&A portion of today's conference.
Well, perfect. Well, I thank everyone for your time and your attention. It was thanks to all the media for being here. And thank you to MPs Saini and May and Minister Chagger, Chair Redmond, and Chris Wood for your continued hard work. So thank you, everyone, and stay safe. And we'll see you soon at the airport.
Tim, we're happy to come together anytime for these kinds of announcements. Thank you to the federal government and the hard work of all of our MPs representing the priorities of this community. Very much appreciated.
Well, appreciate it. Thank you. Stay safe.
Keep doing well. So exciting. Bye for now.
Bye for now.